Okay, let's get our webinar underway. Thanks so much for joining. We really do appreciate you spending some time with us. We know your time is precious. There's a lot of competition for your time. We really do appreciate you making the effort to join our webinar this morning. My name's Steve Fletcher. I work with Cedar Bay. I'm joined by my colleague Matt Brown, and to compensate you for your investment in the time you'll spend with us this morning, we put together an agenda which we're sure you'll find very interesting and stimulating. As an additional gesture of thanks from Cedar Bay, we'll provide a £25 Just Eat voucher for all participants that stay for the duration of the webinar. So stay tuned, and after the webinar is complete, we'll send you a copy of the presentation, some additional material, and that £25 Just Eat voucher to spend as you wish. So as mentioned, we have an agenda. We're going to start by talking about some industry insights, what our customers here at Cedar Bay are telling us and what the wider community is telling us about the last 12 months, the challenges that they face. We're going to introduce to you Acumatica Cloud ERP, the fastest growing cloud ERP platform that most likely you've not heard of or perhaps don't know very much about. We're then, by means of a demonstration, going to demonstrate to you why Acumatica is rated #1 first for customer satisfaction. And Matt will take us through a demonstration to show us that. And then we'll wrap up with some questions. So moving on with the agenda, what are we hearing from our customers in the community at large? Cedar Bay has more than 100 clients, and I can tell you that every one of them has made significant changes over the last 12 months because of unplanned events. So it will come as no surprise to you that COVID-19 ranks pretty highly in people's minds when they talk to us about challenges that they're facing. It's requiring more and more businesses to support and empower a remote workforce. Makes sense, doesn't it? If there are roles in our business that don't need to be on site, can we support them in their home environment? The other big challenge on the horizon, of course, is Brexit. It would be remiss of us not to mention Brexit. It's causing uncertainty and administrative overhead within business today. Supply chains are not as predictable as they used to be. There's a certain lack of clarity around compliance rules and things like that, all of which is driving up an internal angst and administration relating to Brexit challenges. A long-standing challenge pre-COVID for small and medium-sized enterprises in the UK is better visibility across the business. Manufacturing and distribution businesses, the leaders of those businesses, need access to real-time data to make smart decisions about the future direction of their business. More and more of our clients, when they speak to us, they say, well, we're exploring a deeper relationship with our customers using the web. So shop fronts are popping up as a consequence of COVID-19, where the distribution model would normally be to sell products through a retail chain. Well, if those retail outlets are shut, the only route to market really is online. So there's been an explosion in interest of pivoting businesses to a more B2C online environment. And finally, consistently we hear from businesses that one of the things that constrains their ability to respond to unplanned events in the market is investment in technology itself. A lot of technology providers license their product on the basis of user-based pricing. It means that if I want to redeploy people in my business and to do different things or add to my roster of available resources, that is sometimes often constrained by an affordability problem with bringing those new licenses into the business. So that's what our customers and the wider community are telling us. I hope one or two of those points resonates with you. What are the analysts saying? The industry analysts. I don't know how you feel about analysts. They tend to very nicely and eloquently articulate things that we would probably say were common sense anyway. BDO is a good example of a global financial consultancy practice. Well, to be fair to them, early in the COVID-19 pandemic, they indicated that it would indeed have a lasting impact on organizations of all sizes. They use the word could there. I think they probably didn't need to sit on the fence on that one. Ernst & Young, another consultancy practice, provide a wealth of material on how businesses large and small can transform their business within this challenging environment. And again, I've singled out there, they very early doors highlighted the need to support a remote workforce. Forbes, well, they zeroed in on the impact that the pandemic was having on people's decisions as regards technology investment. And businesses are reprioritizing where they spend their money to support things like remote working, to accelerate the adoption of web technologies to support B2C activity. McKinsey, again, they zeroed in really on the change in behavior of people that buy products. Increasingly, people were moving to the online world to do their purchasing. COVID-19 accelerated that activity. So it just drives home the point that more and more businesses are having to add this important channel to their routes to market. All of this is driving a continuous journey that we might describe as digital transformation. Digital transformation isn't something that you deliver in one go. It's not one and done with a digital transformation journey. It is an ongoing process, and we appreciate that from our personal lives. We don't write checks anymore to pay our bills. Perhaps 5 years ago, we were using a browser-based online banking facility to pay the bills. These days, of course, we're very familiar with using Face ID and thumbprint to pay for things in a contactless way. We're on that journey, and things will no doubt be enhanced further in that regard. It's the same within our business. We don't print out 50-page financial reports anymore and circulate those around the business for people to read. If we're a little bit more forward thinking, perhaps we've pulled data into spreadsheets, create a spreadsheet so that the content is digestible more easily, and perhaps email that to people. And if we're a little bit further on that journey, perhaps we set up systems and reports that allow financial people within our business to get the information they need without even having to ask for it. It's all part of this digital transformation journey. And it's at this point that I'd like to introduce to you Acumatica Cloud ERP. They position themselves as the best foundation on which to transform your business to thrive in this new digital economy. Acumatica is a North American business. They have over 7,000 clients, primarily in that part of the world. In 2019, they started a campaign of introducing Acumatica to the UK market. So there's around 50 or 60, a community of 50 or 60 growing small to medium-sized enterprises in the UK using the Acumatica platform. And there's a considered effort on making the brand more familiar in the UK to businesses like yours. Part of the objective of this webinar is to put Acumatica on your radar for consideration at the point at which you want to refresh your business management platform. All under the auspices, of course, of understanding that digital transformation is not so much a nice to have as it is a fundamental requirement. And Acumatica position themselves across these 5 points here. I won't go into too much detail here, but they want to stand up a business management platform that allows your entire business to have access to the tools they need to deliver a sustainable, profitable growth within the manufacturing and distribution businesses that they serve. They want to support rapid integrations to the other technology investments you've made in your business. Gone are the days of significant, multi-month, multi-day integration projects to stitch together the systems that run your business. Acumatica was built for the cloud, in the cloud, specifically to aid and sustain rapid integrations to the other business critical systems in your business. This is a pre-COVID-19 slide, but very much top of mind for Acumatica was delivering an environment that allowed for remote collaboration. So employees in a distributed model where they're working from home or across multiple sites, that was absolutely part of their mantra for research and development of the product set. But they also want to extend that out to customers and partners as well, and enable a platform that you as a business can extend to those important stakeholders. Part and parcel of that is standing up a platform that's resilient. And by resilient, what we mean here really is adaptable. Can I have a management platform that I'm able to configure to respond to unplanned events like the pandemic, and so on. Business resilience is a really important feature. You can't simply move your business wholesale from one business platform to another. It is an expensive and time-consuming exercise. And following on from that point, if you're going to make the investment in a business management platform, it has to be future-proof around all of the paradigms that we expect from the growing connected world in which we live. So that's what Acumatica say about their proposition to the market, and we're excited to bring it to the UK. What did the analysts say? What did the technology analysts say? Well, there were a few that I could have highlighted, but this one from IDC is nice, and they're a well-respected technology analyst. The reason I like this slide is because it puts Acumatica in context of some technologies that you will be familiar. You'll see on that little chart there, Oracle NetSuite, Microsoft Dynamics, Sage. These are familiar names, and within the small to medium-sized enterprise market, Acumatica ranks really high. In fact, IDC ranked them as leader in the mid-market cloud ERP space. You'll notice that Oracle and SAP are a little bit further to the right and top of that chart, but I would contend that the enterprise products available from those businesses are both too complex and too expensive to be relevant to the attendees of this webinar. So within the mid-market space, Acumatica very well respected as an integrated business management platform. It's all well and good having great functionality, but if people in your business don't like using it, that can make migration to a business management platform really challenging. Again, Acumatica ranks really high on stats like usability. This research here done by Nucleus Research demonstrates that quite nicely. A leader in that space as well. And this complements Acumatica's #1 spot as the highest rated for customer satisfaction. That's a report done by G2 Crowd. It's a report that I'll share with everybody attending today because I think you'll find that interesting. It's not just about functionality and capability. It's about how usable it is and how easy it is to help businesses achieve the outcomes that they want. So that's what the technology analyst community say about Acumatica. It's what Acumatica present to market themselves. What do customers think about Acumatica? Why did they choose Acumatica to run their business? Well, I've isolated just 4 or 5 things that I think are very interesting for you. First of all, Acumatica will run on any browser, on any device that will support a browser. So in terms of accessibility and having access to the platform, access from anywhere is again a fundamental part of the Acumatica proposition. In fact, it extends to other things such as smartwatches and Alexa devices. There are widgets that can be deployed that allow certain data points and processes to be available on those technology platforms as well. So being available, especially in this new world of having to support people working remotely, this is a really important dynamic. A very important aspect, perhaps less technology related and more commercially focused, Acumatica have a very innovative, modern, growth-friendly approach to licensing. Again, it goes back to their idea that they want everybody in your business to have access to the tools they need to do their job efficiently and well. They want everybody in your business to have access to the business management platform that runs your business. That does away with things like per user fees, which constrains your ability to flex your business and puts a cost on those things. It means that you can extend functionality of your platform out to your key stakeholders, key partners, customers, and so on. Again, this is all about improving the resilience and adaptability of your business as you try to grow and adapt in challenging situations. Part and parcel of a cloud-based product is, of course, security. Acumatica is one of the few that ships today with 2-factor authentication for users. But you know what? It's not that hard to bolt a 2-factor authentication component onto a enterprise platform, a business management platform. But of course, it counts for nothing if at the back end there's information leaking out of the system in some way because it was not originally designed for operation in the cloud. The Acumatica development process, enshrined within that, is this concept of building in, baking in modern security features. As you would expect from a business management platform, it needs to cover all the bases in terms of functionality. So it's got to account for your financials, your inventory, your sales order process, your shipping processes, etc. So all of those components you need to run a manufacturing and distribution business are contained within the core product. But what really makes Acumatica sing is this concept of what Acumatica describes as cross-module workflows. It means that within a single system, when somebody raises a sales order, it's pulling the inventory out of stock, it's notifying the fulfillment center that they need to ship something, it's processing the invoice, all within a single system. There's no dependency on unreliable integrations between disparate systems that occasionally fail, and you can't see the flow of data through the business. Acumatica are very focused on continually enhancing the range of functionality that's available in this integrated platform. And another dynamic that we found particularly compelling here at Cedar Bay was the ethical business practices that Acumatica put front and center of their approach to market. This list here, I won't go through them all. It's a publicly available charter, if you like, this customer bill of rights. If you search on Google, you'll very quickly arrive at it. I'm just going to pull out a couple. Number 7, ownership and access to their data. Well, you might think no matter what you buy, you'll always have access and ownership of the data. That's not always necessarily the case. There are equivalent platforms, contemporary competition of Acumatica, that make it very difficult to extract data from the systems. At best, you might get, a comma delimited export of data, but because data is maintained in tables, if you don't know what the relationship between the data is in those tables, it almost becomes, an unmanageable export. Some of that is because of technology choices that those providers have made, where data is commingled together inside a single cloud instance. It's very difficult to actually extract data in an efficient way. Acumatica again took the approach that the data would always be the customers, and customers would always have the right to extract that data and take it elsewhere if they want to, and not just in CSV format, but with all of the relationships between the different data tables in place. I mentioned number 9 as well, local business expertise. Acumatica only sell via partners like Cedar Bay. So what we bring is our expertise with manufacturing and distribution businesses, and we leverage that in the local markets and build from a foundation of Acumatica the business management platform required to run your business. They only support that route to market. There's no competition between Cedar Bay and Acumatica directly. We're in sync, in true partnership to deliver the advantage to the market. And that bleeds a little bit into the dual layers of support. Acumatica are very, very interested in sustaining an appropriate high level of customer satisfaction. And they really do ring the bell on the fact that they're market leading in that regard. So their support for us and for customers directly is a well documented and understood thing. So you can be confident that the layers of support are there. It was at this point that I wanted to hand over to Matt to provide a demonstration of Acumatica in action. I think it really does come to life a little bit when you see the platform in action. Matt's going to focus on the usability aspects of things. So I'm going to hand over now to Matt and ask him to take control of the presentation.
Thanks, Steve. Hopefully everyone can see my screen now. So I'll get started. First of all, I'm going to try and show you a bit of Acumatica in action. So I'm not going to go into specifics of anything functional, so we're not going to look at manufacturing in detail, for example, or field services in detail. I just want to give a bit of an overview and a feel for the product and help explain why Acumatica is rated by customers as number 1 for usability. Obviously, if you'd like to see more about the product in the future, please do get in touch, and we can look into those areas. Or if you've got questions, as Steve mentioned, pop them in the questions section of the GoToWebinar portal, and we'll pick those up at the end. Okay, so I'll get started. So I've logged into Acumatica here, and as Steve mentioned, it's a web-based application, so you can get to Acumatica from anywhere on an internet-connected device. There's also an app, and we'll take a minute towards the end of the session to look at that quickly, just to give you a feel for that. Quickly, I wanted to mention that Acumatica is a multi-company product and multi-currency, so it can support multiple companies and multiple currencies. I've got 3 companies in my demo system here. Secondly, I just wanted to clear up my date. I have set it back a year, and that's just so my demo data works. And so it's not that the system's working in the past. I've just asked the system to think it's a year ago, so my demo data looks a bit more useful. Acumatica is a role-based platform, so the security access is defined on a role-by-role basis for users. I'm an admin, so I can see everything in the application, and that just makes it a bit easier for me to get about. But you know, if you're using Acumatica in Anger, you'll only see the bits of Acumatica you need and only have access to the bits of Acumatica that you should have access to. Down the left-hand side, we can see a number of different areas. So these are workspaces, and they are functionally aligned. So a finance person would probably perform most of the activities in the finance section, whereas someone who worked in accounts payable would perform activities in the payable section. Acumatica is designed to allow you to configure it to suit your needs, and you can do that with no need to code. It's no code, low code. You can go ahead and customize those things on your own, and we'll do a little bit of that now. So as I click into payables, we can see a quick menu that shows me some of the items. If I click show all, I can see quite a lot of different options there. I can choose which items are displayed in the quick menu so I can find them faster. And to do that, I just click the cog there. And let's say that you deal with discrepancies by account and discrepancies by vendor, but you don't really work with bills pending payment or checks pending printing. I can just change that selection there, and you'll see quickly we've managed to make a change to that screen, so we can more quickly get to the bits of the product we need to. Additionally, you can add things to your favorites, and that's really easy. We just click a star next to those items, and let's say there are a couple of items here that we work with regularly. And in finance, we do a trial balance summary and a transaction for period. And if I just make those selections and click through to favorites, we can see that it's grouped them up in their workspace to make them a bit easier to find, but it's also just added them there. So what we tend to find is users use this favorites section for most of their day-to-day use of the system. They're not usually going through the big complex menus. They're customizing it themselves to make it work more efficiently. Next, I wanted to show you search quickly. So if you can't get to where you need to be using the menus, I can go ahead and type in customer, for example, and the system will go find all of the menu areas that contain the word customer. And like I said, I'm logged in as admin, so I can see lots of different screens that involve customers. But let's say that you were working in, for example, the service team, you'd only see the service areas, so it wouldn't be quite so overwhelming. We'll look at search a little bit more a little bit later in the presentation, so I can show you some of the other features it offers. But now I want to take a minute to look at the dashboards in the middle. So we can see lots of colourful charts and graphs around the middle of the screen. These are designed to create an insight or a business intelligence for you in real time. So they are customizable. You can design them yourself, build them yourself. Again, you don't need to be a developer. It's low code, no code. You don't need to pay anyone, and you can build them and align them to different users within the organization depending on what they do in the business. So I'm looking at a customer view which focuses on sales and opportunities here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip into design mode, and as I've said a couple of times, it's permissions based, so not everyone in the business will be able to design these. Usually it's a couple of key users, and they can design and share them with other users. I can go ahead and click and add, and show the sorts of things we can display here. So we can show charts and data tables like we've got in the bar chart and the donut chart and the data table to the right. We can do pivot tables, and we'll take a look at that again in a second. And we can use scorecards, which we can see in the upper left, and they can be configured to change color depending on the value, and that allows us to alert users to areas where there is concern. So a late order, the box turns red, you know there's something to investigate. I'm going to go look at pivot tables in a little bit more detail now. It's a function you'd be familiar with from Excel, and we've built some, Acumatica have built some functionality into the platform, which lends itself to Excel a little bit, because we know our users are comfortable using that sort of functionality, and it's a great way to analyze data. But you can do it within the platform, and you can also take data into Excel with these, and we'll look at that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add a pivot table widget. So I'll select pivot table and select next. I'm going to go and look at cases. So the cases our customers have raised in the platform. And I've got a pivot table that I made earlier just to expedite the activity. I'll select that. I can give it a title if I want. I'll just click finish. Okay, so I've added my pivot table, and I'm just going to drag that to make it a little bit bigger so it's easier for us to look at, and I'll flip out of design mode. Okay, so I've added my pivot table here, and that pivot table shows us the types of cases we've got open by category and the priority of those, and then the values. What's useful about these dashboards is absolutely the data is handy and highlights an area to investigate, but let's say that billing questions with a priority of medium, and I want to go look at those. They're causing me some concern. I want to just understand where the issues are. I simply click on that number 4 there, and it'll open a new tab, you'll notice, so I don't lose where I was. I can get back there nice and easily, and it'll take me through to the individual data that is behind that pivot table. And that allows me to then dig into that case, for example, to click through to that case ID and understand what the request is from our client. So I can see that it's a request for an extension on credit terms. It's nothing to worry about per se. The customer's not complaining or has specific issues with the service we're offering, so I can move on and pick up something else to deal with. But it's that sort of ability to just get to the answer immediately that allows businesses to thrive using tools like these dashboards. Let's take a look at this KPI scorecard now. So if we look at the opportunities overdue, it's flagged as red because it's a bad thing, and I've got 135, so there's quite a lot of those. And if I click through, I can see then I've got this large data table. Now, Acumatica has a feature called a generic inquiry, and those of you who are familiar with SQL reporting or other reporting tools, you'll know that you'll build tables of data like this in systems. In Acumatica, generic inquiry can be built with no coding ability. You can select the data sources and the fields you want and link data sources together within the application. Additionally, you can configure then conditional formatting you might be familiar with from Excel, where we say if the date's beyond a certain point or the value is empty or whatever, the item is highlighted. So it's telling me that, you know, the opportunity is overdue, and that's why we're led here. And here I can see there's no activity in a number of these. And let's say that I decide that I want to just move some of these opportunities away from Samuel in this instance. Well, I just click through. It'll open again in a new tab so I don't lose where I was. And it just then allows me to make the change from Samuel to Steve, for example. I can click save and close that down. And then Acumatica, we can configure business events. So based on that change of data, for example, Acumatica could send an email, a text message if you had an SMS gateway set up, or a push notification to the app to let the user know that they picked up a new opportunity and perhaps they might want to do something with it. I want to look at these data tables in a bit more detail and show you some more of the power of them. So within the Acumatica tool, we can look at all records here. We've got lots and lots of data, 15 pages or so. I can filter that really easily by going ahead and clicking on the arrow here and making selections. Additionally, I can drag these columns up into the header And these save so that next time I go to this page, I can see those filters there nice and easily. Just to filter a bit more quickly, you might want to put the areas you're more likely to filter on up here. If I want to go and create a filter that's sort of saved, like a tab here at the top, like these opportunities that we've won, I simply use this funnel option here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create another one of these for us quickly, just so we can see how easy it is. So I'll keep it simple, and I'll just use the status, and I'm going to go for 1 again, just to make life nice and easy. And I can go ahead and apply that, and that will take me through and apply the filter for us. But if I want to add it to this list of options here, because it's something I want to view again and again, I just hit the save button. I can select to share that with other users in the system so they can see it. And I can just give it a new title. So I'm just going to call it 1-2 because I've already got a 1, and here we can see it's saved up at the top. I said that we could pull data out of the system with ease. There are a few ways to do that, but the easiest is to click this Excel button, and almost all of the forms in Acumatica have this Excel button. So if I click that Excel button, it's going to take a minute or 2 to think about it, because it's got to pull 5 pages of data and format them. But in a second, it'll present me with a dialog to save that file. I can save that to my local machine and then go ahead and open that Excel sheet. It's not an Excel demo, so I won't spend long, but just want to show you that that data pulls through from the application directly into Excel. I wanted to look at search a little bit more in some more detail, so I'm just going to head home, and then I wanted to show you some of the ability that the search functionality has. So if I, for example, get a telephone call from a customer, the USA bartending school, I can just type in and click transactions and profiles, and the system will give me the USA bartending school customer. I can click through to that customer, and it'll take me straight through to the customer record, where I can see all sorts of information about what the customer's been up to from a transactional perspective, and any notes that might be associated with the customer. It's worth noting that document management is built into Acumatica, so you can attach documents to any form or the line level of any of the tables we see in Acumatica, and document management allows document revisions and approvals, so you can manage documents within the application. The last piece of the application that I wanted to show in detail before we move on to the app was reporting. So we've looked at generic inquiries a little bit, so the ability to produce data tables which you can pull into Excel, and you could also present those through OData directly to Excel, Power BI or Tableau. The second type of reporting available in Acumatica is advanced financial reporting. So let's say I want to go and produce a profit and loss, and these reports can be configured, but I'm just going to go ahead and run. What's wonderful about these reports, again, we can drop these into PDF or Excel to get them out of the system, but within the system, the power comes from the drill down ability. So let's say we want to go and look at this this income, for example. We just click through and it'll take us through to the general ledger accounts and the balances from those. And again, I can click through again, taking me through to the account details, and that will show me the batch number, the journal that's been posted. I can click through once more, and that will take me to the journal transaction. And here we can then go directly to the source. So we can get back to the activity in the system that generated that, and showing me there's an order here. The third type of reporting in Acumatica is print-based reporting. So designed for invoices, picking lists, dispatch notes, etc. And again, these can be customized by you. There's a Windows-based tool to allow you to design these. And, you know, as Steve mentioned, Brexit creates uncertainty around a number of topics, and one of them specifically is the current ability to export to EU. You can add data to these reports with ease. So if you needed to create additional data sets to add for export purposes related to Brexit, you could pull those through onto your invoices and meet those regulatory requirements. So they're the three types of reporting in Acumatica. Let me just close some of these windows down, and now we'll flip into the app. So I've got a tool here that allows me to share my mobile telephone onto the computer screen, and let me just move that into full screen so we can see that a little better. Oh, if we can get it into full screen and get that to go. Okay, so we can log in, and we can log in using our fingerprint on the back of the phone. That's how my phone works. Others might be Face ID, etc. But it's got my credentials saved in. I can hit that and use the core functionality of the phone for security purposes and get into the app. Now we're into the app, we can see there's a number of different options. So I can process expense claims in the app, for example, look at events that might have been created, tasks, contacts, sales orders, business accounts. You know, all of the functionality more or less that's presented in the web-based application is also presented on this app, and the app works on both Android devices like this and Apple devices. One of the quite useful tools in the reporting suite of the application is the ability to surface those generic inquiries we saw in the application through to the app. And here I can see the details of the generic inquiry we were looking at just a minute ago, and I can click through and see the details of all of the items on there. So if I want to present information to my users while they're out and about or on the shop floor, etc., using a mobile device, a tablet or a phone, I can do that with ease and give them the ability to see what's going on in the organization in real time. Okay, so I think that gives us a flavour of the app, and that brings the aspect of the presentation that I had for you today to an end. So I'm going to hand back to Steve and let him, there we go. He's got control now.
Thanks very much, Matt. That was a really interesting overview of the usability aspects of Acumatica. Of course, if you wanted to see a demonstration of Acumatica as focused on the manufacturing and distribution capabilities of the platform, we'd be more than happy to set up time to do that to your particular business. Please just let us know if that's of interest. So bringing things to a conclusion, let's wrap up and start with what we mentioned at the beginning, at the outset, revisiting what we're hearing from the marketplace. COVID-19 has had a massive impact on businesses and the need to support a remote workforce. Hopefully you can see that Acumatica is well positioned to deliver functionality to your remote workforce in a secure and meaningful way. The ethos of Acumatica is to let everybody in your business have access to the tools they need in the form they need to perform their job to the best of their ability. Brexit is causing uncertainty and overhead. Well, we absolutely understand that. Acumatica, an integrated business management platform with the reporting and configurability aspects that you get with Acumatica, means that your business can respond more quickly to the compliancy challenges as they emerge. Better visibility across our business is all about really a combination of accessibility to the system. So if you're a business leader and you're out of the office and you need access to the latest reports, then access via a native app that gives you visibility of information is really important, help you to make smart decisions about the future direction of your business. If developing an online presence is a significant part of your forward-looking strategy, then having an integrated business management platform that allows you simply to switch on online web shops that are fully integrated to the back office, that should be part of your thinking moving forward as you refresh the technology that supports your business. These are not the big projects that they used to be. Sophisticated online, high quality web-based experiences are completely within the reach of small to medium-sized enterprises. Nobody wants to pay upfront license costs every time that they want to change the profile of their business. Acumatica's approach in this regard we think is really innovative and stands up a degree of flexibility for small and medium enterprises to embrace. It even extends to things like seasonality. Why should your business be punished because you need to add an additional 30 people in the warehouse at Christmas time to cope with demand there? Acumatica's profile is all about enabling each and every one of those seasonal workers to have access to the tools that allow them to be efficient in their job. It should not be a constraint on the flexibility of your business. So at the risk of repeating myself, just to summarize Acumatica as regards this presentation, it's all about access from anywhere on any device. It's about making, systemizing the activity of compliance as things around topics such as Brexit emerge. An integrated platform allows you to do that much more swiftly. It's about real-time access to a single view of the truth. Business leaders deserve to get access to the information they need to make good decisions. It's about plug-and-play integrations to web stores and portals that support an ongoing engagement with your customers, suppliers, partners on the web. And it's about supporting unlimited use of the platform within your business. So time to review some questions here. I can see I do have one here from Emily. Thanks for the question, Emily. Is it configured for the UK market? Well, that's a good question, given that Acumatica is North American and the majority of their client base grew up in that part of the world. Well, as mentioned, there are existing client installs here in the UK now, a growing community of Acumatica users here. It is properly anglicized for use in the UK, so things like date formatting, currency, and so on. And it's certified against things like Make Tax Digital and so on. So thanks for that question, Emily. Good one. Another question here from Clive. Perhaps Matt, you might want to address this. Where is the data stored? That's a good question.
That is a good question. It's worth noting first and foremost that absolutely Acumatica is a cloud-based product, but if you want to host Acumatica on your own private cloud or in a data center, you can do that. So you can have an on-premise or a private cloud version. The Acumatica hosting is provided through Amazon Web Services, and for UK customers, it's hosted in the UK, which makes things easy from a GDPR perspective. It's also worth noting that data center has SOC 1 and 2 compliance and is PCI compliant. So a couple of options there, but if you do choose to use Acumatica's hosting, you can be confident that it's extremely secure.
Perfect, thanks. Thanks for that explanation, Matt. I hope that addressed your question, Clive. I think that's it for questions, and we're right up against the 45 minutes. So it remains really just for me to thank you for spending some time with us. And my contact details are on screen. We would love to get feedback, Matt and I, about these presentations, what was useful, what wasn't, what we could improve. And as mentioned, if you'd like to see a custom demonstration of Acumatica in action in context of your business, we'd be delighted to hear from you. As mentioned, I will follow up with a copy of the presentation, the G2 Crowd ERP review document, and of course your £25 Just Eat voucher to spend as you wish. So please enjoy lunch together with your team or a takeaway this evening on Cedar Bay. Thanks so much for your time, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.